All right, this is Woody with Hindsight. We got a 2021 Can-Am Maverick X3 XRC Turbo RR. My girlfriend bought this thing, and we decided we wanted to put Nerf bars, rock sliders, whatever. So I started doing some investigating and realized that they don't really necessarily make Nerf bars for these things, because of the way this is designed. There's a metal plate in behind here, and so all the Nerf bars, there's no directions on any of this stuff. So on a non-RC, this is all one piece, whereas this has two separate pieces. On a non-RC, there's actually there's a dimple, 3 dimples, one here, one here, and one here, where the Nerf bar actually, you drill it out and you bolt it in. These don't have it. So I've done some YouTube video, looking around and everything, and I found one out of 20 some videos I went through that actually had an RC that they did, and their solution was they took the metal plate out. Well, to me, there's a reason that it's there, so we're going to modify everything, and we're going to make where we can use the metal plate that's in there. It mounts in 3 different spots. Inside here, it goes through and mounts to the frame in 3 different spots. So the 2 outside ones we'll have to drill out, and that's where the Nerf bar mounts up here to the bar. It comes down, and then the plate actually mounts in 3 different spots. Well, the Nerf bar will take the back one and the front one. The middle one will still be bolted like everything else. There's pop rivets across the bottom. It's a little bit of a chore, but I've already done the other side. It can be done, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. So here we go. All right, so the first thing you need to do, you need to take all these torque bits out. There's one up here, there's one here, there's a couple of them up front. So this piece will come completely out. There's actually a couple pop rivets underneath this that you'll have to take out to drill out. This piece will not come completely out. There, like I said, there's one here, and then up behind here, there's another Torx bit, and right underneath here, there's an actual pop rivet. And the only way to get that pop rivet out is to take this whole panel off, and I did the other side without doing it. So we're gonna attempt to do that this way. So we're gonna do all this. Then there's also pop rivets underneath, and these are the sturdiest damn things I've ever been around. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 6 pop rivets across here that pop rivets this skid plate, this piece, and it goes into that metal brace that's underneath here that I was talking about. So we're gonna take all those off, and then we'll go from there. So it is it's a T30 Torx bit. guess I could have turned the tire to make where I could use the drill. And like I said, the one behind here, kind of hard to see. So again, I got to do it by feel. All right, so I got all the Torx bits out. I'm using the 1/4-inch drill bit. Like I said, there's 6 pop rivets across the bottom of this thing that I'm going to drill out. On the other side, I used a 3/16-inch drill bit. It seemed like it wasn't quite enough. Like I said, these things are really super sturdy. I was actually pretty impressed, and I struggled with the other side. I'm going to go with a little bit bigger drill bit, see if that helps on this one. Let's hope we can have it on right. Pop rivet spins so you get something underneath it to kind of hold it, or pop it loose completely. Quarter-inch drill bit's definitely the way to go. And that one's spinning already.
Hey, what are you gonna do down there? Always here to help.
I'm glad that's on video. What? Oh, now you made it break. Now it won't work.
I made you and your drill pee-pee yourself.
Yes, you did.
Well,
Oh,
glad I'm here to
I need Scott.
morally support.
I need Scott over here.
There you go.
Rigid tools, you gotta love them. You're like bad luck. I was going good until you showed up.
I'm just here to help with content creation
Yes, you are.
and hold your beer.
Yeah, thank you. Hot.
What are you teaching these fine folks about?
Well, I'm telling them how nobody makes Nerf bars for these things and directions on how to actually do this.
Well, that's what you're here for. Man, you're gonna get me dirty.
Yep.
Step 1.
Step 1.
Remove plastic.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Remove stuff.
And dirt. Remove the dirt too.
Oh yeah, I forgot there's pop rivets there too.
Remember I told you there was pop rivets there? There you go.
Oh, no. Chuck falls apart. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Don't be that way.
Don't be that way.
Don't be that way. It's gonna be that way.
There it is. Oh,
That could have been
that could
dangerous.
have been. That could have been bad.
Horrible. You would think the guy that owned this before us would have cleaned this up a little better.
Yeah. He did, all except for the stuff underneath. Probably more pop rivets. No, look at that. Some disassembly required.
So just, all right. So this is the metal plate that I was talking about. And it mounts 1, 2, which that one's got all kinds of stuff in it. And there's the other one. So, the one video said to just take these out and take this off completely. We're not doing that. So on the other side, I drilled this open and this one open, so the Nerf bar would slide right in there and bolt. See it? This bolt comes through here, and there's another one that you'll have to look down here because the floorboard's in the way. You can't see it. Remember I told you that there's a pop rivet up underneath there that won't let this come completely out of the way? Well, that's what's going on. So, next step, hang tight. Okay, so now we got all the plastic out of the way. I got all the pop rivets drilled out and knocked through. So get the camera to where it'll actually. So there's pop rivets that come all the way through all these spots, all the way down. So make sure you get them knocked out, cleaned up. These two here, get those out of the way. Get your plastic moved out. So there's these 3 bolts. These two have access right in here. There's the middle one, and here's the back one. The front one is actually underneath your floorboard, and there's access right here. So that you'll have to go from the bottom. So again, we're just going to take this back bolt and this front one out, and we're going to cut this to where the Nerf bar will slide there. We're going to leave this one intact. On the other side, I took this thing completely off, and there's not really a reason to do it. If you can figure out a way to get the hole saw, you need 1 3/4 inches. If you can get a hole saw to start without creating a problem, that's your best bet. But I just end up taking a die grinder like this one I did from the back side because it was shallow enough, so that had a perfectly nice hole. The front one on the other side, I just end up cutting a square. Also, I'm going to, this little piece here has to be cut. Push it back, you can see where it's like it's ready. So this is where your top hole is going to be for your Nerf bar. So you need to trim that out because the bolt's going to come through and it'll have a pretty good sized washer. Okay, so I got these 2 bolts out. I've cut this little piece out, and it's only attached in 4 little corners. I just took a pair of dikes and cut it, and it comes out. This is what the bolts look like. So this bolt goes through here, It has this little super cool little collar thing. Their new Nerf bars will come with it. Like half moon shape, goes on inside. Nut goes on there, bolts all that together. Again, on the other side, I took this thing completely off. On this side, there was no need for it. So this one is still attached. So I'm gonna cut this. I used a hole saw on the other side on one of them, but I cut it from the back. So I'm just gonna take a die grinder. It's not gonna be pretty looking by any means, but it's all covered up. That's still gonna be attached. Also on the other side, I ran into when fishing the bolt through here, there's a part of your floorboard. It's got like a little tray thing in the bottom of it. I kind of cleaned out some of the plastic to make the bolt go through a little easier. I'll get you a little close-up view of it here in a second. But we are ready to start cutting these holes again. So it doesn't matter what kind of Nerf bars you get, they all mount to the same 3 points. So this will work on, it doesn't matter what Nerf bar you get. You can get the most expensive one or the cheapest ones. These actually came from Amazon. They had pretty decent reviews. They looked cool, and they were orange to match the rest of it. And I wasn't sure if I was gonna like them or not, so I went with a cheaper one. Can-Am had one, and the Can-Am ones didn't have very good reviews. Of course, everybody under the sun makes them now. I just went with those because they look good, and it's, I didn't want the plastic being rubbed up against something. I'd rather, have a Nerf bar that I could, take off and put a new one on if it turned out looking like crap. So, like I said, bolts are out. You can see right in here where my finger is back there, the access hole. So I cleaned this piece of plastic out with the die grinder, cleaned it all out. So that bolt's out, this bolt's out. This is the little plastic piece, the round piece. So this is where your back hole will go. That is up. So there's going to be a hole right through here that goes through there. This is the Nerf bar. Like I said, all the Nerf bars have the same mounting points. So that's going to be your front one. Here's your middle one. This one up here is going to be the one that's actually in the black part where we trim that little piece out. This is the way it's going to go. So we're going to cut these two holes out, and that thing will sit all the way in to the round part of the roll bar. So that's what we're looking for. So, like I said, a hole saw, if you can figure out a way to get your hole saw to actually bite into that, that would be the best. But I don't know how to do it. I've heard people putting 2x4s on stuff and do a pilot hole. Like, again, I'm not worried about the way it looks because it's all going to be covered. So I'm just going to use this. there you go. That's where it bolts to the thing, so that's all there is. And then the Nerf bar will slide right through this hole, and see my finger back in there? Probably not. It'll bolt right through the back. So the Nerf bar has actually got that little crescent shape to it. So it'll set right up in there. Got a little crescent shaped bracket that goes on the back side, and the nut goes on it. So I'm gonna do the same thing back here, and then I'll get back with you. Okay, so I recommend doing a test fit. So they're loosely bolted in, all three. On the other side, I ran into a problem with this one, not wanting to thread in. And it's something, in the reviews of it, it had something to say that one side didn't want to mount up very well. Of course, you buy a $700 set of Nerf bars, you would hope they would fit. $150, $60 set. I work in the body industry, so, you know, I make things fit all the time. Not that big of a deal. So I'm gonna cut this hole that we cut out. I'm gonna cut it a little bit deeper. So this middle one has a little bit more room to wiggle. Take into account when you're doing this, the angle of your bars. Probably won't be able to see it, but these bars right here, they're not level. They're not 90 degree. They're more of a little bit of a down angle. On the other side, when I did my cutting of the plastic where you want it to look good, it's a little tighter at the bottom. So I'm gonna make this side a little better. I'm gonna cheat it a little bit. I'm going to drill the hole a little bit lower. That way it's gonna look a little better. The hole is gonna be more symmetrical around the Nerf bar. So I'm gonna pull these back off. I'm gonna open up this hole again. I'm gonna pull the Nerf bar, and then I'm gonna put all the plastic back on it, bolt it all up, because that's when we're gonna get to the critical part where we gotta drill through the plastic to get these things to slide on there. So give me a couple minutes and I'll get back with you. All right, so here's the moment of truth. And unfortunately, there's no measurement that we can do or anything like that. Like I said, on the non-RCs, there's dimples here, here, and up there where you would take your 1 3/4 hole saw and stick it on there and drill it hole, and you're good to go. This is more of a trial and error. So I have a 1/4 inch drill bit, a very long screwdriver. I have this awl. So on this one shows up the most. These down here are kind of more hidden. This one, I want to make sure that it's like good in the right spot. So I'm gonna kick this door open, and from the back side, I'm gonna go through the roll bar, and I'm gonna try to get it lined up, centered as much as I can. And then I'm gonna take my 1/4 inch drill bit and I'm gonna drill into it. I'm gonna take the screwdriver, I'm gonna sit in there, and I'm gonna see how close I am to the center. You wanna try to center it up in that hole in that roll bar as much as you can. That's why I do a test fit, so you can see where, if the roll, or if your Nerf bar is kind of like off a little bit, you know, cocked. Like I said, the bottom of it, they weren't 90, they were more a little bit down. When you do the test fit, you can see that before you go drilling holes, and then you have to oblong the hole, and it just doesn't look good. This, like I said, this is a girlfriend. I don't want to mess it all up. I don't want her mad at me. You know how that goes. putting a little bit of pressure on it. If I was left-handed. You can kind of feel it. It doesn't seem like it's putting a whole lot of pressure on it, so I'll go with the screwdriver that's longer. This back one, actually, it goes around the roll bar. It's got like a little clamp in the plastic. I'm not positive I drilled through that because it feels like I'm hitting plastic. Okay, hang tight. All right, I had to play around with it. I was way off. But anyway, so this is the first hole I drilled. This was the second one. Goes right through the roll bar, both sides of the roll bar. So this is where you need to look to see what kind of angle you are, if you can feel where it's touching the roll bar, if you need to adjust where your hole is going to be. So I'm actually going to drill just off to the side with my hole saw because it's kind of touching the metal more in the back. I want to center it up a little bit more. Here hitting the metal. And on top of that, I want to make sure I clear that hole. I don't want the girlfriend mad at me. right. Remember where I said this one had the little clamp thing? Maybe. This is what this hole looks like. So it's got all this, you're drilling right through all this. This little area here goes around the roll bar, kind of snaps into place. So you're not going to be able to cut all that. So I got to get back there with a pair of dikes and metal shears or whatever and cut all that loose. So this hole will come completely out. So give me a second. All right, here we go. So hole's cut. There is the frame to where the Nerf bar is going to slide right through here. The bolt's going to come through the backside through that hole. And hold on there. So I don't know if you can see how all that stuff is kind of in the way, but this is the problem. Your hole saw can't cut all that stuff out of the way, so you just got to get in there. And I end up taking my my die grinder and get in there and kind of whizzed it all out. So depending on what angle is, so that's going straight in. So remember that all the bars on my Nerf bar were kind of angled down, so this should be pretty good. I'm going to move a side by side up a little bit because I'm kind of like right here at the garage door. So I'm going to move it up so I can get some light. So give me a second and we'll cut the other holes. Okay, so now we're ready for the middle hole. And so it is right here. Remember, we got everything, all the metal stuff cut out of the way. So you need to find something along these lines because it can't be too long because of this bar's in the way. And you need to fish it through. All right, so see that? It's all the way through the roll bar and it's touching this piece of plastic. Now, and if I remember from the other side, it's really, really close to that bolt. Like it's right behind it. Like when I do the hole saw, it's going to be like right in this area. So again, we're going to take the drill bit. We're going to do a little pilot hole and get everything as close as we can. And then we're going to take that long screwdriver again and fish it in there and see where it lines up with the holes. So here we go. Hopefully it goes a little quicker and easier than the back one. Of course, this thing's so rigid, you can't really feel it, so you're just kind of, you're going by feel and look, and that's a good thing, because it should have went. It went right through the roll bar. Now, again, remember how the Nerf bars, the bars were kind of more down at an angle. So, and on the other side, I went straight in. On this side, I'm going to do a little bit lower. But that actually feels, it actually needs to go a little lower. So pretty much right underneath that. And then you can kind of eyeball it level wise, side to side. I don't know what this stuff's made out of, but it's stout. It needs to be a little lower still. Take this thing out. Still needs to be lower. I'm touching with the screwdriver in. It needs to be at an angle, a little bit more angled down. The screwdriver's touching the top of the inside part of the bar. And the only way to fix that is to go lower here. All right, here we go. Remember, it was got to go through 2 pieces. Catching a little bit of the metal. Actually, it was catching the clip for that. Now, one thing I didn't think about was getting these pieces out if I had everything all bolted together still. Okay. And there's the hole. And depending on which angle I put the camera, it's dead center or not very much, but that's the hole that it's going in. So far so good. Go to the front one. Sorry, I forgot to turn the camera back on before I drilled that one. Anyway, I'm getting ready to put the Nerf bar in, but I'm seeing right now I forgot to go in and trim that metal piece more before I put all the plastic back on. So I'm willing to bet that I'm gonna have to pull all that back loose to cut that, because it just seemed like it's sitting a little bit higher than the hole. This one mainly, this one we might get away with. I'm gonna stick the Nerf bar on and see what happens. The middle one's probably going to be all right. It's definitely hitting the front. Yep, it is. Oh well, anyway, that's my bad, because I meant to cut those before I put them in. The other side, I actually cut them a little bit deeper in, so I didn't run into this type of problem. The other side seemed like everything's fine, but the middle bolt won't go in, and I think what I'm having the problem here is the same thing going on over there. It won't. I got to cut out some more metal and let it relax a little bit into place, but pull that off, and I can at least show you what the other side looks like. So it's on, it's bolted. But it's this one I'm having a major issue with, and you can see the gap, what I was talking about, how it's hanging tight on the bottom. That's why the other side I kind of went more of an angle. The one that counts, this one looked good. This one was a little bit oblonged, but behind that plate you can't see it unless you're really looking for it. But anyway, I'm about running out of time for tonight, so I'm probably going to have to finish this up tomorrow. I don't want to start grinding everything with the neighbors to piss everybody off, so I'll get back with you tomorrow. All right, it's a new day. I took the lower piece off. It was just the T30s across there, so no big deal. Remember, I was saying the Nerf bar was hitting the metal piece, and you can see exactly here where it was hitting up there trying to get on. So I'm just going to notch it back to where the part of the roll bar or the frame is. Cut it back enough to where there won't be any obstruction. Run a grinder with shorts on, the sparks hurt. see where I notched it all the way back to the frame rail. Still didn't get into the plastic, the skid plate on both ends. So that metal piece is completely out of the way. So now the Nerf bar should slide right in that hole. Hang on, now I'm gonna go get it. All right, moment of truth. Put the bottom piece back on, so the metal's all cut out. See if it fits. Snug. Ha-ha. We're touching metal. There. All right, it's in the hole. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. Now we got to get these to thread in. My Nerf bars came with some of these also. These are the factory ones, the new bolts. The black ones look better on inside. It kind of matches everything. I'm going to put the orange one up here in front underneath where you can't see it. So let's see if we can get some of this threaded in. It probably would have been easier to pull the seat out, but I'm lazy and I wasn't going to go that far today. Reviews on this one side lined up pretty good, the other side didn't. I don't remember which one it was. Where did it go? Alright, so I'm not going to bore you with this. It's going to be a trial and error of seeing which one I can get started and then make everything else fit. The other side, my middle one didn't go in, so I'm going to go back and play with that after I get this side on. So I'm going to try to get one started and just kind of wrestle around with it and see where I can get it going. I'll get back with you when I get everything done. Go Pros Live. All right, so it's on. I got the front and the back bolt in. Just like the other side, I cannot get the middle one in. It will not take. So I messed with it. So my solution is going to be, I'm going to pull the bar back off and I'm going to open up the holes that go through the bar, the frame rail. I'm going to open those holes up a little bit because it has to be an angle of the bolt that is not cooperating with this hole. And that's the only way I can figure it, because I mean, everything else is in. It's not tightened all the way. I guess I could try that, but on the other side, I had the same problem. The other side is completely tightened up and it still would not take. I've tried a longer bolt that I went and bought the other day for the other side, and that still will not try to catch on. So I'm going to pull this back off, I'm going to open up the hole, and we're going to try again. All right, so before I start grinding on the frame rail and the cage of this thing, I wanted to make sure that this bolt would actually thread in. So here's the front one. Threads in just fine. Here's the back one. Gotta hold the tongue right, but it threads in just fine. This one will not start. It is there, it's like it ain't there. So I'm going to, I don't know if I have this size tap or not. I'm going to see if I do. But yeah, it will not start. And it's trying right there, but I don't want to take a chance of trying to strip it out. So I'm going to see if I can clean up the threads a little bit. But yeah, that would be the problem. Because like I said, it was touching. You can't even see here to where the bolt was touching it. It was definitely going down there. It just wouldn't start. I could feel it in there. It wouldn't go. So I'm wondering if the other side is the same way. So let me see if I find the tap, clean it up, and see what happens.
Go cruise lights.
All right, so I did have a tap. It's going through. It was burred up at the end. So Scott here is going to see if the bolt that we had is going to go through there. I cleaned everything else up. Get this out. If this bolt goes in, not that one that's all stripped up.
I thought that's the one you want.
Don't screw it up. What are you doing?
Wants to go.
Where's the super cleaner? I probably ought to take a guide of those. Where's a good one?
This one I thought was good. Find it?
No, but this is the other one that I bought that I needed a longer one.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that. Ooh, all good.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna set it up there and see what happens.
Go cruise light.
Normally I don't let Scott work on anything that I own, so it's a good thing that Stacy owns this, because anytime he's working with tools, he normally messes things up. Scott, you want to look at the camera?
I would agree.
Did it go on? Is that the longer one? How much you got sticking out?
Well, I'm not tightening it up though.
Well, I'm like, we got like a 1/4 inch or...
Yeah, I think it'll be fine once we tighten it.
Get the back one, and if the back one will start, I'm gonna go get the other side off and play with it. Okay, so this is the third evening I've worked on this thing. I promise you it does not take that long to do it. Last night turned into a giant party going on. Everybody showed up, so I didn't get to finish it up last night. So we did get everything's all bolted up. All the bolts are, on both sides are in. The only thing we have left to do is put the pop rivets in the bottom. I'm gonna do that, and then I'll show you the walk around of, everything's done. I'm not real happy about this hole here. It looks a lot closer on the other side. This side, it's got a pretty good sized gap. It's a good thing it's behind that plate, so it's not as noticeable. But all in all, I mean, it's sturdy. I mean, you can just stand on it. And like I said, it's better, I think, than the other video I watched that they took that metal piece completely out. So this one's still in there. It's still attached to the frame, with that one bolt, and everything's in there. It'll all be pop riveted together, just like it was from the factory. So I think it's going to be stronger that way. So I'm going to show you where the pop rivets are. So we got one, two, three, four, five. So there's 6 on each side. And I just went to the hardware store and got a couple different variants, and we're gonna put them in there, and we should be good to go. Like I said, just when you do it, make sure that the pop rivets are all, the old ones are all the way out. So I went and made sure that, you know, they'll go up in the hole all the way. So you're good to go. So hang on. All right, so we're all done. Pop rivets are in on both sides. Seemed like the split rivets seemed like they worked better. They would grip a little bit and like actually flare out and grab better. The ones that just kind of pull down, they didn't seem like they were one hold. So either I would have to get bigger ones, or, you know, drill the hole out a little bit more, get bigger ones. Anyway, like I said, all the bolts are in. The metal plate is still intact. They're nice and sturdy. The only thing that I had to do that wasn't in the directions was this bolt on both sides. I ended up going to the hardware store and I had to get longer bolts. For whatever reason, it seemed like this bar and this bar up here would meet on both ends, and there was a little bit of a gap, and that bolt that they sent with it just wasn't long enough to catch the thread. That side over there, the thread was boogered up on it pretty good to where I ended up running a tap through it. This one wasn't like that, but I did notch that piece of metal a little bit more, and it seemed like this one went in and set in a lot better. But like I said, all the bolts are in. So, pop rivets are in, all the way down, all of them. The only thing that I forgot was in behind this piece of metal, or this piece of plastic, and this one, that piece of plastic and this piece of plastic is supposed to pop rivet to the metal, and I forgot to put those pop rivets in. But with all those T30 Torx, it's not going anywhere. And I'm definitely not taking these things back off, just put a couple pop rivets in. So that's the bolt, that's the longer bolt that's in there. There's the back one. And then the front one, I have to go. So it's in on both sides. Like I said, this side I wasn't real happy with that hole. It is way off. I normally don't do things quite like that. The other side seemed like it was like perfect. It's off, but it's not near as bad. So, but anyway, so like I said, like and subscribe. Hope this is informative. Like I said, there was only one video that I saw in like I said, there was only one video that I found that actually did an RC, and I wasn't really thrilled with when they took the metal piece out. I wanted to keep it intact, so that's why I decided to do the video. So hopefully it helps you out. Have a good day.